A Human, Our Story 1. I don't know where I'm from. It was from in between notes that a human spoke and thought to itself, I don't know where I'm from anymore. I have forgotten. A human realized that the music was still playing in its microtonal way, and it filled a human with wonder and a sense of uncertain certainty. The wonder grew and grew to a climactic level, so a human sat down and took the wonder a little more seriously. It wondered why its memory had become so terrible as of late, and with a hint of pareidolia to its freshly forming ideas, a story of sorts started to form in its mind. The Lotaphagi, they were the last of the pleasure-seekers here. I remember them well. I remember the taste of the lotus. I could never forget it. I could never... But still, no, that is not really me, it thought. Now, was that a memory or a premonition? A human couldn't quite tell. Thoughts came and went as waves upon a human, and then it realized that the sound of the orthotonophonium had stopped, and it now sat submerged in a pool of utter silence. The desire to grasp at certain uncertain notions had been so strong, but now that the quiet pervaded, a more subtle limerence to move towards the opening occurred deep within a human. It got up and swam towards it, with its own heart now beating, and as it moved across the threshold, total love, laced with a fine gossamer of hypokimenon, rushed over it. Tears washed away from its eyes as it saw, yet still it did not know why, and all that was before it now was the future, and all that was behind it then was the past. With a great gasp of breath it was hurled out and came tumbling onto rugged moorland, where it just raised the saccade of its vision and voice to whatever this now was, and cried out, Varunastra of the void, I have passed into the age of non-maskable interrupt, and now bones and teeth shudder with equal fervour at the years of yet more water ahead of me. Tangible are these thoughts now, and as for intent I question it, I truly do. For you shall seek vengeance, and I shall seek righteousness, and we both shall be the weapon. For all of the best laid plans of you both are but pantagruelism to I, for I am a human. Oh, the potential! Oh, the grief! Emotion blazed throughout a human's body in an instant of eternity, then it ceased. A human stood now quite still, watching the utterance of its words dissipate, until shock began to nibble at its heels. A little light rain and wind blew in across the moorland. Axioms and paradoxes had locked. The way out would not be won merely by logic. A human knew this well, but its memory was far from superlative, and with a low, long blast of a carnix approaching, a human suddenly realized it was afraid. The fear surmounted all thought, and a human began to run, and it ran and ran and ran. The terrain was not kind to its footfall, though, and it fell, tumbled and broke its head upon a rock, and everything turned to black. Time was a strange thing. A human did not yet understand either, but soon its consciousness returned, and it opened its eyes and looked up around itself. It was surrounded by the black leaves of Eranthemum nigrum, inside the ruined walls of a building. It noticed the sky far above, and once again a strange notion of pareidolia came over it as the clouds coalesced, but soon these visions were interrupted by ginger moustaches and faces, not of the gods, but of men. The faces spoke in a strange tongue, and as a human concentrated on the syllables, they formed a music of their own, and the meanings swam into its mind. In this sense, a human was truly blessed. You are not a kith or kin. Why do you walk upon our lands? Have the gods sent you? Why do you look so strange to us? Vicarious, enough. Leave it be. It has just awoken. And do you not see the aposematism written all over the skin of its soul? The first face squinted its eyes as if it were peering in at a human. then, satisfied with the conclusion, stepped back. "Can you stand?" asked the second voice. The human's mind was still whirring with information, some forgotten and some realised, and the questions were now beginning to take precedence over all of its thoughts. Unable to speak, slowly a human nodded, and began to get to its feet amongst the others who stood amidst the gentle swaying of the Eranthemum nigrum. Again the faces peered in wonder, suspicion, and cognation towards a human and its behaviour. The human looked back at them blankly. And then all of a sudden a human felt some words swimming up from its belly to the tip of its tongue, and it uttered them. "Hello, I don't know who I am, I don't know why I'm here, but I know I have to do something. I just can't quite remember what it is yet." The others surrounding a human looked at it in surprise, and then to one another before their leader spoke again. "I can foresee you are something more than the sum of your worth. You must come now, to the one who is wiser than all of us. But first I need a name from you. Surely you must have a name." A human thought about this, then slowly shook its head. "I can't remember," it said. "Well, in that case we shall call you Ankoff, which means forgot in our tongue. Now come on, Ankoff. Bilro has wrapped you in some cloth to give you some warmth and decency. You shall ride with me upon my horse as we return home, for you are an enigma which deserves a little more of our village's attention, I fancy." A human looked down at the cloth it now wore, and then back to the leader, nodding dumbly. "Name?" it asked somewhat rhetorically. "My name is Cletus, chief of the Adyo. Now come, Ankoff, ride with us." A human agreed and complied, and soon enough the horsemen were travelling across the moorland towards the village upon a distant shore. As the rhythm of the horses continued, a human was reminded of that strange music it had once courted, and it realised that nothing would ever be the same again. Now it was here. And yet it was not here, like the others were. It was not their kith or kin. It was altogether a human. But what that really was, it didn't even have the faintest of clues yet.